She is joining shortly. Actually वहाँ लाइट का प्रॉब्लम होता है इसी वजह से. Our Shai Sadat Bhai is also here, I think, from California. Afghan American writer, and
okay. Okay, then I guess shall we start?
Yeah, you can start. It will be okay. So as soon the new audience and the speakers will join, we will carry on from that side.
All right. So I'll start with an introduction. Hello and welcome everyone. Today is the 16th of January here in Washington, D.C., and we are holding this program in honor of G.M. Syed, who is famous as the leading light of GA Sindh movement, the movement for Sindhudesh, and its fight for rights within the Federation of Pakistan, but also for some of its followers, after trying every which way, a movement for self-determination, for independence also from that country. We have several speakers with us of Sindhi background and non-Sindhi background who hold G.M. Syed in great honor for what he has stood for his writings, and for the movement he led and its principles. Because the Sindhis are not the only people in that region who are fighting for self-determination, who are facing the same kinds of problems. So we have with us today Sindhis, Baloches, Pashtuns, and so on. I'm going to start with Zafar Sahito, who is the chief organizer and founder of the GA Sindh Freedom Movement, currently living in exile in the United States. He started his political career from the time of student politics, from his student days with the GA Sindh Student Federation, JSSF, in the year 2000. He's a prominent speaker. He's a writer on human rights, especially of the minorities represented in Pakistan. He has been lobbying for the freedom of Sindhudesh worldwide, especially here in Washington, D.C. He and his associates were persecuted by Pakistani agencies on charges of supporting a resistance movement in Sindh in the year 2015. And since then, he has left that country, Pakistan, and is living in exile, and is leading the freedom movement from the United States right now. So I'll hand it over to Zafar Sahito.
Thank you, Kaulbhai. Namaskar, Sandhya Ji, Shahi Sadat, Priyajit Ji, Priya Didi. Thank you, listeners and viewers. Long live Sindhudesh, long live Sain G.M. Syed. Sain G.M. Syed's 118th birthday anniversary. Why we are celebrating? Because we people of Sindh, occupied by Pakistan, we forgotten our history, our literature, our heroes. Our identity was on the verge of vanishing. But it was Sain G.M. Syed who, after long slavery of invaders, British and different colonials, Sain G.M. Syed, he gave us again ideology of our Sindhudesh. The Sindhudesh, which was from Mahabharata, the Sindhudesh whose last king Raja Dahar, the Sindhudesh which was written in Rigved's Indus Valley civilization. So after long slavery of invaders and coloniers, we forget ourselves, we forgot our own history. But it was Sain G.M. Syed who started movement of Sindhudesh and revive it again, and told us not only just he struggled, he wrote 56 books. 56 books he wrote, and because of these books and his struggle, and when he wrote Pakistan Must Die, his last 30 years of his age, he was house arrested. He was never allowed to go outside from Sindh. Before that, he visited India, he visited UN, he visited Afghanistan, he visited, he has good relations with Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. But when he rejected Pakistan and he said that there was no Pakistan, Pakistan was created on two-nation theory, which was wrong, and Sindh and Sindhi identity is more important and valuable than not only Sindhi, but whole nations of this region which are under occupation of Pakistan. They must get freedom. So not only he fought for the Sindhi nation, but for whole nations who were under the slavery of new created Pakistan. Sain G.M. said is personality who like gave us again birth. Like in Christianity or different religions, they say that we got second birth. So I think we Sindhi people got our second birth with conscious, with our identity, with our roots, because of Sain G.M. Syed and on his ideology. Today we are trying our best to get our national freedom from Pakistan, which is Punjab or military of Punjab. If Sain G.M. Syed had not given us this ideology, maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years, we Sindhi was not more anymore, the historical nation was not going to more be remembered. So because of Sain G.M.'s ideology, today I am proud. Today I am proud that speakers from different nations, today I am proud that we are still fighting, we are struggling for our Sindhudesh. Because of whom? Because of Sain G.M. Syed. So he's our leader, our founder of GA Sindhudesh, and I am feel so proud, and I am lucky that I am his follower, and I am doing my best for my Sindhi nation. Thank you. Thank you.
Zafar Sain. Do we have Razak Baloch with us today?
Yeah, he will join. He's at work, so he will join shortly.
Okay, so then we will go ahead with Shahi Saab.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, all the talk of the region, the Indian subcontinent or South Asia as it's known, centers on Afghanistan and also its co-ethnic extension within Pakistan, namely the Pashtuns. From that specific area, we have today with us Mr. Shahi Saadat. He is an Afghan-American author, a human rights and civil rights activist, the president of the Afghan Intellectuals Global Community. He is an activist of the PTM, the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, and the PTM president from California, the United States. Afghanistan and Pakistan have been in the news, been in the center of the news lately internationally for what's happened there since the Taliban takeover, and this cannot be a more appropriate time to get their take on this important day. Shahi Saab, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Karam, for inviting me here. Thank you for all. Thank you to all my Sindhi brothers to invite me to this remarkable event. We are celebrating the great leader, G.M. Syed, not only because he was a messenger for freedom, justice, humanity, but he inspires us and he shows us the path to freedom, to stand together, to how to achieve our freedom and how to go further with that. I was reading about Saint. I think Saint, the history of Saint is so very old. It's started from the civilizations. Civilizations start from Saint. So if you go through history, through human history, when you talk about civilization, Saint come first. And this is why we are here today. This is why we are celebrating the great leader G.M. Syed. And unfortunately, with the creation of Pakistan, this land of legends, this land of heroes being oppressed and oppressed to the level that its son daily disappear, daily torture, daily killed by the Pakistani military establishment, by the ISI. I believe that, and I'm sure this was the message of also G.M. Syed, that the first thing is that we have to show to the world that with our friendship, they can gain from us. And if they turn against us, they will lose. And the only way to achieve this goal is the unity that we are here today. That the Pashtuns, Baloch, Sindhi, all united can stand against this evil. And then the world will realize that while these people are united, if we turn against this united people who are fighting for justice, who are fighting for humanity, then we are going to lose. And then once they realize it, that they are going to lose, then they're going to stand with us. Because today, everything is about interest. Everything. If you see the bigger country, the world, the corporation, they're all about their interest. So once they realize that their interest will be in danger, and their interest will be only in danger once we are united and once they turn against us. So the best way is a unity like today. And people like G.M. Syed, these great leaders, they're bringing us together. Like Mr. Zafar said, that he was friend to all those great leaders. He was friend to our Bacha Khan. He was This is a good example. So the message of G.M. Syed was just to be united. United wherever you are. All the oppressed nations should unite to fight this bigger oppressors. That they have gigantic corporations, they have big businesses, they have big institutions. The only way to fight their institution, their evil military establishment, is unity. And once again, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here. And it's honor to be this great event. It's honor to stand together today. The oppressed people from Ammu, Afghanistan, to the Indus, to Sindh, all are oppressed by one group of people, and that group of people is Pakistani military establishment, supported by the state of Punjab of Pakistan, and destroying humanity, destroying the lives of other nations. They're destroying everything, culturally, everything, they're destroying them. So let's us stand and follow leaders like G.M. Syed, Bacha Khan, Gandhi, and all these great leaders. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Shahi Saab. That was a really interesting perspective from the Ammu Darya all the way to the River Sindh. We have with us, I see, Bakhtavar ji. We have several speakers from Sindh who are here to join in to commemorate this event today. I will hand over the mic to Bakhtavar ji, who will introduce one by one the speakers from Sindh to share their thoughts. Bakhtavar Bain ji, आप हैं हमारे साथ?
Yeah, she's there. Bakhtavar भेण, तव्हां जेकॾहिं ॿुधो पिया त हू पंहिंजो मेक ऑन कयो, वॉइस ऑन कयो भेण. I think she has some problem.
Okay.
भेण Dashla Rani and Bakhtavar Surmi, they are from Sindh, and yeah, they want to give in Sindhi. Actually, I have always tried that our women, our daughters, our Sindhi girls must come forward. Until they will not come, we cannot achieve our goals. So women is our best part. They must join us. So that's why I tried to bring them here to give the tribute. I think Bakhtavar's voice is not coming. So I will request Bhen. I think she's, yeah. Bakhtavar Surmi, taha Sain ke bheta pesh kayo. Bhen Bakhtavar, taha bhale shuruat kayo. Bhen Dashla Rani, taha jekar bhale ॻाल्हाइण शुरू कयो. I think they have some problem. Carl, you can go ahead with some guests. So
okay, we will circle back to the Sindhi speakers when we have a secure connection with them. In the meantime, I would like to continue and call upon Mrs. Priya Saha, who's with us. She is very active and a leading light amongst the Bangladeshi minorities. She is also currently in exile in the United States, in the Washington, D.C. area, and is a forceful voice for what has been happening in Bangladesh, and which we don't often hear about in the news. Priya Sahaji is an international human rights activist in true sense. She serves as the founder and the executive director of Shari for 20 years in Bangladesh, which has been working with minorities, with women, with Dalits in that country. And she's now serving as the executive director for human rights, for the Human Rights Congress for Bangladesh Minorities, or HRCBM, in the United States. She has been working to get recognition of the Bangladesh genocide at the hands of the Pakistan Army in 1971. She has over 34 years of experience as a social entrepreneur, human rights, political rights, social impact areas. Since her student days, she has been working in this field. She was a participant in the freedom struggle and during the movement against the Bangladesh military regime in the 1990s. She also fought with other student leaders to establish a democratic country, and she succeeded in doing so. She has a master's in economics from the University of Dhaka. And she has a very long list of achievements, but at this point, I will just call upon her to share her thoughts on this very important occasion. Priyaji.
Namaste everyone. It's a great opportunity to talk on the great person, G.M. Syed Ji, because he has a very long life, 91 years together. He worked for humanity. He worked for different parties for freedom. Always he thought about the freedom from any oppressed, any discrimination, any type of bondage. He was a free person, as a free thinker, and as a great person. My gratitude to him on this auspicious day. His birthday is tomorrow. We are remembering him today. It's a great opportunity from I got from Joy, the Sindhi Foundation. I'm grateful to them. J.M. Syed was a Sindhi nationalist, and he was a great political person. He started his life as a social worker of League of Social Reform in 1919. In 1992, he joined League of Peer and Sadat of Sindh. At the same time, he started political career, actively participated at that time in the famous Khilafat movement. He beginning of his pan-Islamic activities during 1928 to 1936. He worked as a director of Sindh Cooperative Society and established Lower Sindh Jamindara Bank. He was a great activist, and in those days, he was an active Indian nationalist, but then he joined Muslim League and as a devoted Pakistani nationalist. He brought all his focus to the creation of new state of Indian Muslim. In 1940, he became vice president of Sindh Muslim League, and he is recorded as the first person who presented Pakistani resolution in Sindh Assembly in 3rd January 1943. But his association with Muslim League could not last long. And on the issue of nomination of feudal and unqualified candidate for the election, J.M. Syed said bye to the Muslim League in January 4, 1946. Soon after the creation of Pakistan, J.M. Syed and Abdul Ghaffar Khan, known as Bacha Khan, founded Pakistan People's Party, the first ever opposition party in history of Pakistan. J.M. Syed was elected and its general secretary. He remained in the camp of opposition to Muslim League, struggling for the right of Sindhis. on the issue of separating Kharasi from Sindh and later for opposing one unit, he was sent behind the bar. In 1955, he played active role in the formation of Pakistan National Party. During Ayub era, he remained in jail and was set aside from politics. He was in jail for 30 years. Mr. Syed was the architect of Jai Sindh movement. Today, the Jai Sindh movement is a very powerful political party, and this party is trying to get the freedom. Being a Bangladeshi people, I have seen he has a strong connection with Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, our father of nation. And our father of nation, he worked lifelong, and we are freed from Pakistan. I hope and believe the Sindh will be independent very soon. And as a Bangladeshi, as a freed nation from Pakistan, we will support from our corner, from as a person, from as a citizen of Bangladesh, to create the Sindhudesh will be free from all oppressed, all oppression, and they will get right to administer themselves. They will not administer by the Pakistani people. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I am grateful to the Jai Hind Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Priyaji. Another shout out to Bakhtavar. Bakhtavar, are you there? And can you speak? Bakhtavar बहन जी आप हैं?
जी
कहिए.
भगवान न चवा मारियो त वसा भगवान न चवा मारियो त वसा चेकींदे सुहा हक मौजूद सिंधु देश मुक़द्दरा साईं जी.एम से रहबरा जीअं त अॼु असां 118 सालगिरह जे मौके ते साईं जी.एम से 118 सालगिरह जे मौके जी निस्बत सां उनखे भेटा पेश करण लाइ हिते गॾु थिया आहियूं, जंहिंजे हवाले सां आलमी सतह ते जिन साथियुनि भाइरनि ऐं भेनरनि असांखे जॉइन कयो आहे तंहिंजो थोराईंदा आहियूं. थैंक यू सो मच जो तव्हां हिकु अज़ीम शख़्सियत खे भेट ॾियण लाइ असां सां गॾु थिया. जीअं त सिंध मां सूरमियूं सिंध जूं न्याणियूं भी असां सां गॾु आहिनि, जेके वक़्तवर सूरमी ऐं दशला राणी आहे, पर कुझु नेटवर्क इशूज़ जे करे ऐं कुझु नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम्स जे करे उहे असां सां गॾु न थियूं आहिनि. सो मां पहिरीं त वक़्तवर सूरमी खे माइक ॾियणु चाहींदसि ऐं उन्हनि खे मौक़ो ॾींदसि त हू पहिरीं ॻाल्हाइनि ऐं पोइ वरी असां वधीक हिन शइ खे कंटिन्यू कंदासीं ऐं मां पंहिंजी ॻाल्हि खे कंटिन्यू कंदसि. थैंक यू. हेलो जी, हेलो वक़्तवर सूरमी तव्हां वटि आवाज़ अचे थो? असांजो जेकॾहिं आवाज़ अचे थो त ॻाल्हायो. हेलो आवाज़ अचे थो तव्हां वटि? Then can I hear you?
Bakhtavar ji, I can hear you, but Bakhtavar Surmi's आवाज उनकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
अच्छा, वक़्तवर सूरमी तव्हां पंहिंजो ऑडियो ऐं वीडियो थोरो ऑन कयो, हिनखे क्लिक कयो जेको इशू आहे ऐं पंहिंजी ॻाल्हि खे अॻिते वधायो. आई थिंक को इशू थी रहियो आहे. वक़्तवर सूरमी फिशलाणी तव्हां वटि जीअं त सिंधी समाज या सिंधी इलाइक़ो या सिंधी जा कुझु इलाइक़ा पसमंदा या न सूरत हाल मां ग़ुलामी जे दौर मां गुज़री रहिया आहिनि, जंहिंजी वजह सां तरह तरह जूं मुश्किलातूं पेश अचनि थियूं. So Bhaktavar Surmi खे चवंदसि तव्हां join थियो Bhaktavar Surmi आवाज़ अचे थो तव्हां वटि हेलो
भेण तव्हां बख़्तावर तव्हां हुनखे मोबाइल ते भले मैसेज कयोसि ऐं असां प्रोग्राम खे अॻिते वधायूं था या तव्हां साईं खे भेटा भले पेश कयो त बहितर रहंदो
जी जी तव्हां कंटिन्यू रखो प्रोग्राम खे कुझु इश्यूज़ आहिनि वरी असां अॻिते वधाईंदासीं प्रोग्राम खे फर्स्ट टाइम हुननि जॉइन कयो आहे दिन ऐं फर्स्ट टाइम उहो असां सां हिन मीटिंग में जॉइन थिया आहिनि शायदि हिन वजह सां कुझु प्रॉब्लम्स अची रहिया आहिनि सो तव्हां वरी कंटिन्यू कयो ऐं असां पंहिंजी ॻाल्हि खे कंप्लीट कंदासीं अखर में थैंक यू
जी ठीक है
So sorry to all viewers. She was saying that they are trying to connect because it is from Sindh. We have issues of connection, and they first time they are trying. Actually, I am trying to bring them to meet with the people to go for our cause. Until women will be not with us, we cannot achieve our goals. Ji Kal bhai, you can carry on. So as soon they will be able, they will join with us. Sorry for inconvenience.
Not at all, not at all. Thank you. And actually, no translation needed. I'm surprised at how much of Sindhi I could understand without.
Thank you. Great of you.
So we will continue again with a woman, not Sindhi, but I want to call upon Sandhya Jain, who I've had a chance to learn a lot from. Over these recent years. Sandhya Jain is an author and a writer on political and contemporary affairs. She's a postgraduate in political science from the Delhi University. She has nearly 4 decades of experience as a professional journalist and was senior fellow at the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library in New Delhi. She's a student of myriad facets of Indian civilization, from India's large tribal population to the events in to the politics of Jammu and Kashmir, and of course Balochistan. In fact, she's written books on several of these subjects, and her most recent book includes Balochistan in the Crosshairs of History, published in 2021. So with that, I want to call upon Sandhya Jain.
Thank you, everyone. Very honored to be called here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm very honored to be invited to speak at the birth anniversary of Sain G.M. Syed. It's his 118th birth anniversary, as we know. And he was 92, I think, when he died. He had spent 29 years of his life in various jails in Pakistan. And his life is a message, since we have already had a Bangladeshi speaker before us. His life reaffirms the message that religion alone is not enough to make a nation. And Pakistan, as speakers have hinted, was a nation created artificially on the basis of religion by misleading people that they cannot live together with others. And around the core of the Pakistan and its army, the Punjab and its army, they created or forced other segments into this thing and called it a nation. Now, G.M. Syed was taken in by that. He did join the Pakistan Muslim League, but he very soon realized that this is not what nation is. The exit of Hindus from that region did not bring any justice to the Sindhis, because this, as Zafir Bhai has said, was a very old people. At least 5,000 years of civilization behind them. They had a language, they had a script. That's very important in nation building. And the Sindhis had they were like the Baloch, that because over the years and centuries, you always have population moving everywhere. And they accepted people as one of them if they learned the language and learned the script. And nationhood of Sindh, or their identity as Sindh, did not come from one race or claims of racial purity. This is very important for us to understand. So when the Sindhis realized that we are having textbooks in which the Arab invaders are going to be glorified, Raja Dahir and other local heroes will be vilified or negated from history, they began to see that something is very wrong. The other thing about Sindh, the geographical area, is that it's rich in its own right. They have coal, they have oil, they have gas. They have the port. The only viable port of Pakistan is the Karachi port. So this was an income generating society. Anyone who has been to Karachi will tell you, and I think even today, it is the most cosmopolitan city of Pakistan. And we have had over the years, I think the Sindhis living there will tell us more, that fundamentalism is distorting the area and ruining the lives of the people. Sindh also, after the partition, got the Indus water, the maximum water from India. Now, the farmers of Sindh are denied that water. Here in India, people are complaining that we gave it away. But who did we give it to? The Punjabis of the army have appropriated most of the water and most of the land. So again, Sindh feels that we have been left out, we have been cheated. G.M. Syed, when he realized that this is wrong, he broke off with Jinnah in Jinnah's lifetime. And Jinnah died in 1948. So you can imagine how quickly the realization came that religion is not enough. There has to be some commonality in the goals in which people living in a landmass will call themselves a nation. In Pakistan, the Pashtuns are unhappy, the Baloch are unhappy, the Sindhis say we are colonized. So it means that it is a very artificial entity. What Sindh experienced after 1947 is this dislocation of the people, demographic aggression, arrival of the people who made Pakistan were the Western UP people from our side, and they're called Muhajirs over there. But they went there with their Urdu language, which is imposed on 4 regions, which all have their own language. And Punjab even has a script, Sindh has a script. So you have this problem that this artificial entity is controlled by the Punjabis. Specifically now it is clear it is by the army, because even Punjabi civilians couldn't hold it together. It is only the army. But it was created for geopolitical reasons around that army, and this has to be recognized. Now, when these Urdu-speaking people came, Sindh was the first. The Sindhis, who were educated people, they were marginalized. The Urdu script came, the Urdu people came. And the arrogance of the army-backed Punjabis came in all the 4 regions. So they were very much alienated, and they had to start protesting. And very soon after 47, Jinnah, of course, died a natural death. But after that, Liaquat Ali Khan was assassinated. He was the prime minister. Why? You must understand, the first thing when Pakistan was created was that the cosmopolitan Karachi was made the capital, because it was the most developed city. But they said the control over this Karachi will no longer be with the Sindh government. That's the first point of alienation. Then, to get rid of the equal status which the Muhajirs had at that time, Liaquat Ali is dismissed, murdered, and the movement from the geographical space of Sindh also begins, and you have Islamabad as capital is created for that reason. And again, Sindh is marginalized. And with Sindh, even the Muhajirs from India begin to be marginalized. This is an important aspect that most Sindhis forget when they are dealing with their fight. What happened then, we know, to cut it short, 1971, you have the Bangladesh crisis because of various reasons. This is something, this is very funny, I must tell you. This Ayub Khan created the one unit to balance the population strength vis-a-vis East Pakistan. When he couldn't run the country even with martial law, he called in Yahya Khan. And Yahya Khan, in his innocence, and this needs to be appreciated, he allowed the first free and fair elections of Pakistan, which gave Mujib Rahman the majority and then led to the crisis, which led to Pakistan. Now, most Sindhis and even Baloch feel that if Bangladesh can break away, why can't we? There will be many reasons for that, and we don't have to go into that. But what we have to see is that after the Bangladesh, the remaining part of West Pakistan, which is now only Pakistan, became more concerned to hold what is left together. I think the marginalization and the victimization of Sindhis, Baloch, even Pashtun has increased because of that. And that is why we are having this Pashtun movement in Pakistan today, is a response to that. You're having three groups totally alienated from the center, but they are not yet powerful enough to do anything, and we must recognize it. Within Pakistan, the Muhajirs, the marginalization of Muhajir went hand in hand with using the Muhajirs against other groups, especially the Sindhis, and MQM is part of that. Today that Altaf may be running away in London, but the Muhajirs played a dirty role in the politics, which you are well aware of. I don't have to go there. They have helped in the Islamization of the region and harassment of the Sindhis. Then you have aggravating your problems, the CPEC, the China's intervention in Pakistan, which I thought earlier was confined to the Balochistan area. It also covers Sindh, and Sindh is also feeling alienation because of land might be going away to China. You have something called Zulfikarabad. All these problems are there. The other problems you have, which are very aggravated, you're having, like in Balochistan, enforced disappearances. You're having kill and dump policy, extrajudicial killings of activists. And this has been aggravated now. In Afghanistan, the Taliban regime has alienated people further. The other point before I conclude is that Sindh was a refuge for Baloch when they were being oppressed by Pakistan. And many used to come and get succor in Sindh. It was a beacon of hope for underemployed Baloch who could come and work there. But in recent years, the Pakistan Army, the ISI, has been following people into Sindh and killing them there. With that, they are killing Sindhi activists also. So I don't know where this is going, but the situation is very grave. Unless the resistance to Taliban in Afghanistan can pick up somehow or the other, become a real force, there is nothing that is going to cohere with all the groups that are currently suffering under the boot of the Pakistan Army. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sandhya Ji. I see that Bakhtavar Surmi's audio seems to be restored. I think we should give it a shot, given that the connection with Pakistan is unreliable. And then we can continue with some of the other international speakers. Bakhtavar Surmi Bahan ji, aap bolna chahenge aap? आपको अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा. जी.
Hello.
नमस्कार.
हेलो बतौर सुर में जेकॾहिं तव्हां वटि आवाज़ अचे थो असांजो ऐं त तव्हां अनम्यूट कयोसि ऐं तव्हां पंहिंजी ॻाल्हि कंटिन्यू कयो भेटा पेश कयो वीडियो जेकॾहिं नथो हले त तव्हां ऑडियो जे ज़रिए पेश कयो जी बक्तावर अचे थो आवाज़
जी हाँ आवाज़ अचे थो
शुरू कयो
तो आवाज़
जी
अचे थो
जी जी जी
हाँ
शुरू कयो
हाँ हाँ तुंहिंजो इश्क उतां हो साईं तुंहिंजो इश्क उतां हो साईं हर जाबिर जी ज़ात अॻियां तुंहिंजो कंध झुकण जो नाहे तुंहिंजो कंध झुकण जो नाहे कंहिं बि लात नात अॻियां हक़ मौजूद जीअं सिंधुदेश जी साईं जीएम सैयद बिल्कुलु भेण बक्तावर ऐं दशला राणी जा लख थोरा लख लाइक जंहिं मौक़ो ॾिनो ॻाल्हाइण जो ऐं बक्तावर दी ऐं संदसि जी पूरी टीम जस रहे जंहिं तारीख़ में पहिरियों भेरो सिंध जी नियाणियुनि खे मौक़ा फराहम कया मां सम्झां थी त बिना औरतुनि जे सियासत त छा पर ज़िंदगी जो को बि सफ़र तय नथो करे सघंदी ईअं त साईं जीएम सैयद जी शख्सियत बेपनाह ख़ूबियुनि जी हामिल आहे संदन जो इंसानी पोरियो सिंधी क़ौम ऐं आलम इंसानियत ते एहसान आहे जंहिंखे असां लाहे नथा सघूं हिन नंढपण खां वठी पीढ़ीअ ताईं इंसानियत लाइ कमु कयो ऐं सियासत जो बि इंसानियत जी बुनियाद ते सचाई ऐं ईमानदारी सां सफ़र तय कयो मुंहिंजूं भेनरूं ऐं भाइरो सचाई जो हामी त हर कोई आहे पर सचाई जो दामन जेको साईं जीएम सैयद पकड़ियो उहो शायदि भरे सघे जे कंहिं सियासतदान पकड़ियो हुजे मां साईं जीएम सैयद खे सिंध जो पैगंबर सम्झां थी छो जो पैगंबरी जा सभु गुण साईं में मौजूद हुआ उन लिहाज़ खां साईं जी वॾे में वॾी खूबी जेका करामत खां बि मथे हुई सा हुई पंहिंजे मौक़ुफ़ पंहिंजे नज़रिए पंहिंजे कौल ऐं पंहिंजे नसब लाइन ते बस सच्चाई सां बीहण ईमानदारी सां बीहण ऐं बेबाकी सां बीहण हुई जीअं त यूरोप में बेदारी वारो दौर 16वीं सदी खां शुरू थिए थो पर सिंध में बेदारी जो दौर साईं जीएम सैयद जी कोशिशुनि सां 1940 खां पोइ शुरू थियो उन ई बुनियाद ते
बक्तावर आवाज़ अची रही तव्हांखे शायद
जी भेण,
नेटवर्क
आवाज़
जी
अचे वधीक ॻाल्हाईंदी रहे
जी जी
लगता है कि कनेक्शन टूट रहा है बख्तावर जी के साथ
बक्तावर हाँ कंटिन्यू कयो तव्हां पंहिंजी ॻाल्हि खे हाणे
अदी दैशला नथी अचे उनखे चओसि भले ॻाल्हाए जेकॾहिं मौजूदु आहे
नेट दशला तव्हांखे आवाज़ अचे पियो जेकॾहिं तव्हां वीडियो ते नथा या नेटवर्क इशू आहे त आइडियो में तव्हां पंहिंजी भेटा पेश कयो हेलो
या मुंहिंजी आवाज़ अचे पियो तव्हांखे
जी जी
जी
जी
जी
जी
दशला अचे पियो हाणे तव्हां पंहिंजी भेटा जो सिलसिलो शुरू कयो हाँ बक्तावर तव्हां ॻाल्हायो।
आवाज़ अचे पियो मुंहिंजो?
जी जी कंटिन्यू कयो।
हाँ त जीअं त यूरोप में बेदारी वारो दौर 16वीं सदी खां शुरू थिए थो, पर सिंध में बेदारीअ जो दौर साईं जीएम सैयद जी कोशिशुनि सां 1940 खां पोइ शुरू थियो। उन ई बुनियाद ते शाह सरकार जो ही बेत साईं जे सफ़र ते ठहकी बीहे थो त सरजियस तां सूर सामायस सुख वया, इहे ॿई पूर निमाणीअ नसीब थिया। जी हाँ, साईं 35 साल कैद काटियो बिना कंहिं अज़ीम गुनाह जे। गुनाह बस इहो हो त साईं सच्चाई जो रस्तो न छॾियो, ईमानदारी जो रस्तो न छॾियो, बाकिरदारी जो रस्तो न छॾियो। ॻाल्हाइण लाइ त घणो कुझु हिन बेबाक शख्सियत ते आहे, पर वक़्त जी घटिताई जे करे मां साईं जे हिन सिटनि ते पंहिंजी भेटा जो इख्तिताम पज़ीर कंदसि। त साईं फरमायो, तव्हां मूंखे कैद करे सघो था, ॼोरनि वांगुरु मुंहिंजी रॻुनि मां रत चूसे सघो था, मुंहिंजे जिस्म खे गब करे सघो था, पर दुनिया में अॼु ॾींहं ताईं
नेटवर्क इश्यू था शायद, कट गई का। दशला राणी तव्हां ऑडियो ते अचो ऐं भेटा पेश कयो। दशला ॿुधो पिया? जी
पियो?
जी जी बख़्तवर कंटिन्यू कयो।
बख्तावर सिंधु
जी जी अचे पियो आवाज़, तव्हां शुरू कयो। दशला राणी
आज़ादीअ खां ओपरा तूं न असांजो भाउ, तूं को पत्थर पंध में असां उतरवा। आज़ादीअ खां ओपरा तूं न असांजो भाउ, तूं को पत्थर पंध में असां उतरवा। असां तॾे आओ सांगो छॾे साह जो। हक मौजूद जिए सिंध, जिए सिंधु देश, जिए साईं जीम सैयद। मां थोराइती आहियां भेण बख्तावर सिंधु जी, जंहिं असांखे हिन लाइक़ सम्झो ऐं हिकु अज़ीम शख्सियत ते ॻाल्हाइण जी दावत ॾिनी। ऐं पिण थोराइती आहियां आदा ज़फ़र सेतो जी, जंहिं भेण बख्तावर समेत सिंध जी न्याणियुनि लाइ संजीदा थी कोशिशूं कयूं। जीअं त साईं जीम सैयद हिकु घण पासे शख्सियत हुयो, जंहिं फ़लसफ़े, मज़हब, सिंधी समाज, नफ़्सियात, सियासत, इश्क ऐं मोहब्बत ते लिखी सिंधी क़ौम ते अणगणिया एहसान कया। इन शख्सियत ते ॻाल्हाइण जेतिरो न असांजो पोरियो आहे न इल्मु। बस आउं साईं जी कुझु सिटियुनि ते ॻाल्हाईंदसि। साईं जीएम सैयद फरमायो, अवां क़ौम खे किरदार ॾियो, क़ौम अवां खे तारीख़ ॾींदी। बिल्कुलु मुंहिंजा साथियो ईअं ई आहे। तारीख़ सदियुनि जो पड़लाव हूंदी आहे, जेका ठहंदी आहे इख़लाक़ सां, किरदार सां ऐं क़ुर्बानीनि सां। छा असां साईं जी हिन ॿिनि सिटियुनि जे कौल मुताबिक़ पाण खे या तारीख़ खे ठाहे सघिया आहियूं? ही सवाल हिते जो हिते आहे ऐं आउं सम्झां थी जिते कमु करण जी ज़रूरत आहे। बस आउं इहो चवंदसि, साईं ख़ुदि पाण सदियुनि जी तारीख़, तहज़ीब, तरक्की तमदन ऐं तरक्की ऐं तमदन लाइ आला मिसाल ऐं तसलसल आहे जेको अमन आलिम ऐं इंसानियत ते रखियल आहे। साईं आरीसर चयो सियासत जी बुनियाद आहे समाजी तब्दीली जी मौसर तरीन शक्ल जो। जी हाँ, बिल्कुल ईअं ई आहे। साईं जीएम सैयद इहो जंहिं सियासत खे इबादत समझी सच जे रस्ते ते हली सिंधी क़ौम ते अणगणिया एहसान कया ऐं सिंधी समाज खे आज़ादी या जदीद डग ऐं रस्ता ॾिना। बस सगीर जे वॾे दानिश्वर अबुल कलाम आज़ाद चयो साले थियण या पैगंबरी टिनि पीढ़ियुनि खां वधीक हलंदी आहे, पर हीअ सन जी वस्ती शाह हैदर खां वठी नंढड़े जीएम सैयद ताईं कॾहिं बि वीरान नाहे थी। ही 15 ऐं 16 नस्ल आहे। जी हा मुंहिंजा भाइरो ऐं भेनरूं, बिल्कुलु ईअं ई आहे। सन जी वस्ती न कॾहिं वीरान थी आहे न थींदी। छो जो साईं जो फिक्र ऐं नज़रियो हाणे असांजे रग रग में शामिल थी चुको आहे। आख़िर में आऊं सिटियूं चवंदसि सभिनी पंहिंजे पीढ़ीअ जा नाम वरिता, पर छा कजे ओ सिंध असां तुंहिंजो नाम वठी वेठासीं। जिए सिंध जिए सिंधु देश।
बहुत शुक्रिया बख्तावर बहन जी। मैं देख रहा हूँ कि दहशला रानी भी है, वो कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे?
दहशला रानी ने अपनी भेटा पेश की। बख्तावर सुरमी है हमारे साथ, जिनकी बात कट गई थी बीच में, जिनकी बख्तावर सुरमी आप कंटिन्यू करें वहां से जहां से आपने की थी, जो कनेक्शन प्रॉब्लम हो गई थी। आप साईं जीएम से खराजे अकीदत पेश करना चाहें? जी बख्तावर। जी आप अपने प्रोग्राम का सिलसिला शुरू करें, कंटिन्यू रखें, शायद उनके यहाँ कनेक्शन प्रॉब्लम है। जी
जी काल भाई, थैंक यू। बख्तावर बहन, थैंक यू। एक्चुअली मुझे मैसेजेस आ रहे थे। आई वाज रिसीविंग मैसेजेस दैट व्हाट द सिंधी our daughters said about said in their tribute. Can you summarize them? So Sindhi language is very sweet language. I think everyone has already understood few things out of it, but still I would I would share. I'm feeling so much grateful to these daughters of Sindh that from remote areas they are trying their best, and they are connecting internationally with international politics and with figures like special guests we have today. Message from Bhen Bakhtavar and Dashla Rani was about women, about secularism, about freedom of Sindhudesh, and the message to whole world that Sain G.M said he not only wanted freedom of Sindhudesh, but he said that whole nations, the nations which are under tyranny, under the occupation of Pakistan, as Sandhya Jain told before, Not only Sindhi, but Baloch, Pashtun, Sindhi, people from Gilgit-Baltistan, people from Sraiki Belt, they also looking for their freedom, for their national freedom, and for their country. So, Dashla Rani said that Sain G.M said struggle was not just in a corner or only for the Sindh or for Sindhudesh, but his struggle was for all oppressed nations of this region. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zafarji, for summarizing their speeches. I can attest to the fact that I know several Indian Sindhis, Hindu Sindhis, whose fathers, grandfathers had to leave their ancestral homeland due to partition. And the first time I heard about G.M. Saidji was from them, and that attests to the broadness of his vision. I want to invite our next speaker, Priyajit Dev Sarkar. So far we've had an idea of the historical view, the cultural view, and truly these kinds of movements do need a groundswell of public opinion in those areas to be successful. But one of the, I guess you could say, is one of the sad facts of the human rights field is that these grassroots movement don't see the light of day until there is a geopolitical interest involved. And to shed some light on that, I want to invite Prijit Dev Sarkar. He's the author of The Last Raja of West Pakistan and the Atlantic Attack and Arbitration. He's an independent geopolitical analyst with a special interest in the political history of the Indian subcontinent. The political relationship between East and West Pakistan since the partition of the Indian subcontinent is a key area of research, which ultimately culminated in the Bangladesh Liberation War. And he also studies present-day Pakistan and its deep state enigma establishment. So Priji, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Carl, for the very generous introduction. I'm very grateful. And also, I'm very grateful to Zafar Bhai and the GS Sindhudesh movement for hosting such a remarkable webinar with an excellent panel of speakers. And I'm really delighted to see especially the woman from inside Sindh who has come out today. I really salute your courage that you have. It is quite pretty late out there, but you have come out and spoken your free mind in your own language. This is something. It shows that there is change is in the air, and we could see some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I think as you have mentioned, Carl, I think there's a lot which has already been said about Mr. Mr. Syed and James Syed and his achievements. So I'm not going to repeat because I really don't have anything else to repeat. I will try to maybe summarize both in English and in I'll try my best in Urdu or Hindi as a mixture and see how it goes as for the other guests to maybe get a gauge of what I'm saying. So देखिए बात जो है जो सिंध है, so we need to understand, we call India Hind, and where is this Hind coming from? The Hind is from Sindh. So we first have to acknowledge this. This is point number one. Point number two is that I myself, मैंने खुद तो कभी सिंध गया नहीं, but what I've heard from people, जो लोग वहाँ पे गए हैं, researchers, in Sindh today, irrespective of the religion, whatever you could be, Muslim, you could be Hindu, you could be something else, they still have these traditions of, like the diya or the light with like a pottery kind of thing with different types of oils. They have something called like the ulu, which is like very popular in eastern part of India, that the woman uses a lip gesture to welcome a new arrival. Like it could be a bride, it could be a daughter. So, and then when somebody asked this to the Sindhis, a very revered gentleman, I'll not take his name because I don't have the permission to quote him. उन्होंने कहा है कि देखिए इंडिया में हिंदू बाद में है, सिंध हम पहले से है. So that summarizes the impact of Sindh, as you said, geopolitically. So coming back to the present day, Sindh is probably the second largest, वो सबसे दूसरा बड़ा सूबा है पाकिस्तान. It contributes almost 70% to the GDP of Pakistan. It is probably the almost the highest producer of wheat. Some people miss this point that Punjab, they think a lot of people is the land of the five rivers and very fertile, which is all very fair. But the wheat production in Sindh is also pretty high. And apart from wheat, what I will come to is the natural resources. जो जमीन में जो minerals or resources है सिंध में, जिसका ये when we talk about the Punjabi establishment, so say the Punjabi establishment is like a corporation. It is run by this elite club of generals and their lieutenants, and they have entrusted the responsibility of the defenders of the true faith. ये उनका narrative है कि इस्लाम खतरे में है, we are the defenders of the religion, and in for that we will commit any number of atrocities with impunity. There is no action is going to be taken against us. So I'm just going to go through some very quick data like facts and figures. So province wise in Pakistan, oil, crude oil production, Sindh is almost 11 or 12 million barrels, which is 40% of the share. If you compare that to Punjab, which is like 5 million barrels, which is around 15%, 16%. If you compare that to the gas production, natural gas, Sindh has almost total of 1 billion metric cubic feet of natural gas, which is an overwhelming majority of almost 70%. मतलब 70% gas का reserve Pakistan province का सिंध में. If you compare that to the consumption, मतलब जो gas और पेट्रोल आपके सूबे में है या कोल आपके सूबे में है, उसका कितना परसेंट आपको मिलता है as a citizen. In Baluchistan, the ratio is only 30%. आवाम को मिलता है उसका benefit. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it is around 50%. In Sindh, however, they are more like 70% of the contributor. They only get 55% ratio of the benefit of the gas and coal and the petrol. However, if you compare that to Punjab, which is 790%. So you can very well see the imbalance. Ki Punjab mein they are contributing maybe 20-30% of the natural resources, and they are withdrawing almost 800% back. Whereas Sindh and other provinces, Baluchistan, they are giving so much, in towards the economy and the state of Pakistan, and they are getting a very handful back. 80% employment opportunities are not there in Sindh. People migrate to the major financial centers, to get employment and so on and so forth. And lastly, I would like to point out, as Sandhya ji also mentioned, is the CPAC. So this new trade route or whatever has been sold to the Pakistani people by the Punjabi establishment is that we will have China, which will come in, and then they will build this fantastic infrastructure at amazingly cheap prices और सबको benefit मिलेगा. लेकिन ऐसा बात नहीं है. We have seen it everywhere else in the world. China जहाँ पे जाता है, आप श्रीलंका का मॉडल है आपके सामने. You can go to Thailand, there is a model. In fact, Bangladesh recently has negotiated another deal with China regarding a deep state port. So if you go to Africa, you see how the Chinese exploitation is. So all this narrative of CPAC and this will bring benefit to the Sindhi people, I don't believe it. And I think this is a total, sham argument that which is being peddled by the establishment in order just to get some kind of money out of China, because geopolitically, after the recent change of events in US, the American establishment and the American country is quite fed up with the Pakistanis, and they have pulled out all funding and resources, and so is NATO. So Pakistan has always been a client state, be it CETO, CENTO, Baghdad Pact. I could go back in history, but they always, the narrative of Mr. Jinnah was that we are in the crossroads of such a important neighborhood, we could sell our services to everybody. We got India on one side, we have got China on the other side, we got Iran. And that is why probably Pakistan has got trouble with everybody who is, in the neighborhood, even being the fact that 90% or 80% of their borders collide with Islamic countries. So if Islam was the unifying factor, surely Pakistan will not have, territorial or border disputes with the other neighbors who are also Islamic states. And I would just like to conclude, like we have, as Priya has mentioned, Priya, is that we have the model of East Pakistan. So East Pakistan succeeded. There was one key factor, which was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So he was a unifying factor, in that he was the face and the people rallied behind him. I think this is my calculation. In Sindh, there is a little lack of leadership in today's day and age. And I think the Sindhi people should come up with a credible leader and to give this, legitimate right of self-determination, and then they could take it to the next level. So this would be probably my analysis of it. Thank you very much, Carl. Thank you, G.S. Sindhudesh.
Thank you so much, Prijit. We're waiting on Naila Qadri and Razak Baloch to join us. Zafar Sai, are there any other speakers that I can give the mic to in the meantime?
Yeah, Carl bhai, Dr. Naila, she will join. I was just on phone with her. She will join shortly, and Razak ji also. Until we will go with our Bakhtavar Bhen. She will give more details. What about? आई थिंक बख्तावर बहन, आप अगर उर्दू या इंग्लिश में बात करें तो जो प्रियाजीत जी का जो कंसर्न था या जो बाकी सिंध की आज़ादी की तहरीक का वहाँ पे जो असर है या खास करके औरतों के हवाले से, उस पे अगर आप थोड़ी बात करें, रोशनी डालें तो बेहतर रहेगा. बख्तावर सिंधु हमारी सेंट्रल ऑर्गेनाइजर हैं जीएस इन फ्रीडम मूवमेंट के. जी बहन बख्तावर.
जी अदर पहले तो मैं आई वाज थैंकफुल टू यू फॉर ऑल. मैं सबकी शुक्रगुजार हूँ जो आपने मुझे इस अहमियत के काबिल समझा कि इतनी बड़ी अजीम शख्सियत पे बोलने का मौका फराहम किया. और दूसरी बात कि इतनी आलमी सतह पे इस प्रोग्राम का हिस्सा बनाया मुझे और इतनी बड़ी जिम्मेवारी मेरे अंडर की. सो पहले तो मैं सिंध के से जो मेरी सूरमिया ने या जिससे मेरी बहनों ने ज्वाइन किया था प्रोग्राम और जिसने भेजा पेश की, उनका मैं थैंक यू आप लोगों को. और मैं जिन्होंने हमें ज्वाइन किया, इससे माहौल में सिंध के ऐसे पसमंदा और ऐसे यानी कि माहौल जो गुलामी के इसके दौर चल रहा है और बहुत ही एक सेंसिटिव दौर चल रहा है, तरह तरह से, एक तरह से मजहबी रुझान की वजह से बहुत सारे बंदिशें लगी पड़ी हुई हैं हर जगह पे. सो ऐसे माहौल में आप लोगों ने हमें ज्वाइन किया और साइन जीएम से इतनी खूबसूरत और अच्छी भेंटा पेश की. पहले तो मैं उनको खैराजियत पेश करती हूँ. और आप जो मुख्तलिफ मुल्कों के शख्सियात जो हमारे साथ ज्वाइन हुई हैं, मैम संध्या जैन, सर कार्ल कनिमेंस एंड सर अब्दुल कदीर, जो भी शख्सियात हैं जो अपनी मजलूम कौमों के लिए काम कर रही हैं आलमी सतह पर. जैसा कि आज हमारा प्रोग्राम था साइन जीएम से को भेंटा पेश करने के हवाले से, और हमने ये प्लेटफॉर्म चूज किया सोशल मीडिया का, क्योंकि मैं समझती हूँ इस तेज तरीन दौर में जो हमारी बात पहुंचाने का जो वाहिद जरिया है वो सोशल मीडिया ही है. और सिंध में भी अगर देखा जाए तो हम अपनी बात इस सोशल मीडिया के जरिए ही रख सकते हैं, और कोई तो मौका फराहम नहीं किया हुआ हमारे. तो हमने इसको चूज करके साइन को भेंटा पेश करने का एक प्रोग्राम शुरू किया था, और हमारी कोशिश है कि इसको आलमी सतह पे इसको लेके जाएं, साईं के नजरिए को और साईं की उन बातों को और साईं की उन जो पेशगोइयां थी उनको हम दुनिया के सामने पेश करें. सो साईं जी एम के कुछ लाइनें थी. साईं ने कहा कि जो दुनिया में अमन, जब तक दुनिया में अमन कायम नहीं हो सकता, दुनिया के किसी भी खित्ते में अमन कायम नहीं हो सकता, तब तक मजलूम कौमें ऐसे ही पीसती रहेंगी और ऐसे ये दौर चलता रहेगा गुलामी के. इसलिए दुनिया में अगर कोई भी कौम गुलाम है और वहां पे काबिज किसी काबिज गुरु के अंडर है, तब तक दुनिया में कहीं भी अमन कायम नहीं हो सकता है। और इसीलिए साईं जी एम सैयद का नजरिया इतना अहमियत के हामिल है, और ये सिंध की धरती जो है वो अहमियत की हामिल है, जहाँ पे ये अमन का पैगाम जा रहा है। और ये इसी धरती को और इसी कौम को पैगाम पेश करना है, पूरी दुनिया को बताना है कि जब तक ये दौर है, ये गुलामी का दौर है, जब तक दुनिया के किसी भी खित्ते, किसी भी कोने में कि कोई भी मजलूम कौम है उस पे काबिज है, तब तक हम कहीं भी अमन कायम नहीं हो सकता। इसीलिए मैं समझती हूँ साईं जी एम सैयद का नजरिया पूरे आलम इंसानियत के लिए एक अमन देने वाला और एक खुशहाल जिंदगी और अमन का हामिल है, और ये धरती इतनी हामिल है। और मैं थैंक यू करती हूँ आप सबका, और द जो कितनी तवील अरसे से जलावतनी की जिंदगी गुजार रहे हैं, और ये वो जिंदगी वो महसूस कर सकते हैं जो इस दौर से गुजर रहे हों या इस दौर से गुजरे हों, और फिर भी इतने हालात में वो सिंध की औरतों के लिए, सिंध की लड़कियों के लिए, सिंध की बहनों के लिए, सिंध की सूरमियों के लिए तरह तरह के प्रोग्राम्स पेश करते हैं, तरह तरह के मौक़े फराहम करते हैं। मैं साद का बहुत बड़ी शुक्रगुजार हूँ, और आप सबकी भी शुक्रगुजार हूँ। और जैसा कि आज ये प्रोग्राम था साईं जी एम सैयद की सालगिरह 118 बर्थडे एनिवर्सरी बर्थडे के हवाले से, थैंक यू सो मच। आखिर में मैं साईं की ये कुछ शेयर पेश करूंगी जो मैं हमेशा पेश करती हूँ, साईं लतीफ शाह अब्दुल लतीफ का, जो मेरे लिए उत्साह भी है और पूरी सिंधी कौम के लिए उत्साह का सबब भी है, और जो आखिरी सांस तक चलता रहेगा, क्योंकि जब तक सिंध गुलाम है तब तक ये हमारी जदोजहद चलती रहेगी। इसके लिए मैं शाह लतीफ का हमेशा ये बेत कहती हूँ कि हलंदे हो त पुनुअ ॾे पहिरें भर हलंदियास, हलंदे हो त पुनुअ ॾे पहिरें भर हलंदियास, पेरनि हलण छॾियो त गोॾनि साण घिसकंदियास, गोॾनि घिसकण छॾियो त हथनि सां चुरंदियास, जे हथनि चुरण छॾियो त सीने सां रिड़ंदियास, जे सीने रिड़ण छॾियो त अखियुनि सां ॾिसंदियास, जे अखियुनि ॾिसण छॾियो त रूह सां मिलंदियास, मिलंदो त मिलंदियास न ते घूरी जान जतन पर। जी
जी, जो आखिर जो आपने जो कविता पढ़ी उसका उर्दू तर्जुमा आप दे सकती हैं?
जी बिल्कुल दे सकती हूँ। जैसे कि साईं लतीफ ने कहा कि ये फिर शेर में इसीलिए कहती हूँ कि ये जो गुलाम कौम है, और अभी तो गुलामी का दौर चल रहा है मुसलसल, अभी कंटिन्यू है, अभी हमें आज़ादी नहीं मिली, अभी हमें मंजिल वो नहीं मिली है। इसीलिए उसने ये उत्साह के लिए पेश किया है कि जब तक आपको मंजिल नहीं मिल जाती, जब तक आपको वो जिस सफर पे आप चल रहे हो उसकी मंजिल नहीं मिलती, उसके लिए आखिरी सांस तक लड़ो। अब पहले तो पांव से लड़ो, फिर पांव से चलना अगर आप नहीं छोड़ दो तो फिर आप घुटनों के बल पे लड़ो, अगर घुटनों के बल पे नहीं तो फिर सीने के बल पे, अगर सीने के बल पे नहीं तो हाथों के बल पे, और अगर हाथों के बल पे नहीं तो आंखों से देखो, आंखों से भी एक उम्मीद लगाए रखो, और अगर आंखों में भी छोड़ दें तो रूह की आंख से देखो, और अगर फिर रूह से भी ना मिले तो फिर कुर्बान कर दो अपनी उस धरती पे। जी
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। हम बानो नायरा कादरी के मुंतज़िर हैं और वाजा रज़ाक बलोच। I see that Professor Naila has joined. Naila ji, can you hear me? I think you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Naila ji. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
Let me just make a quick introduction and I'll hand it over to you. So, just in time, we have Professor Naila Baloch. So we can't really be talking about Sindh without talking about neighboring Balochistan, not just because the history and the demographics of both the areas are intertwined, but also because amongst the people fighting for their rights and their self-determination in that area, Balochistan is in many ways going all out at all levels of society. And it's always good to acknowledge their achievements and their contribution in this area. I want to introduce Dr. Naila Baloch. She and her son, her whole family, they have been involved in the struggle. She's the chairperson of the Baloch People's Congress and is the president of the World Baloch Women's Forum, and is truly a leader, a middle-class leader of the Baloch independence movement, and someone who's been very inspiring to me as a person. So, Naila ji, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Zafar Jan. I'm honored to be part of this August program, this August forum. Actually, Sain G.M. Syed is an inspiration not only for the people of Sindh, but all the oppressed people, all the oppressed nations who are in the struggle to take their liberation. But the people who still think that the chains or the structure of Pakistan can be an option. Whoever thinks, who is a Sindhi or a Baloch or a Pashtun, whoever thinks that the structure of or framework of Pakistan can be an option, they should study the history of two people, two great leaders, Sain G.M. Syed and Nawab Akbar Bugti. They both believed that Pakistan can be the answer of their issues. But their great experiences, they were great people. They were not ordinary people, they were great people. And their experiences proved that Pakistan is not an option for the oppressed nations living under the slavery of Pakistan. Because Pakistan is just like a butcher, and the oppressed nations are like the goats. The state of Pakistan lives and survives as a parasite on the resources of our people. And that's why they are genociding us. All the definitions of genocide are now that given by the United Nations or given by the scholars, they can be applied on Baloch and on Sindh. The blood is showering on our homeland, on our motherland, and our people are very precious people. Our very precious people are getting abducted and killed and tortured and disappeared. Our women are getting raped. Our women are, and in this situation today, when anybody says that paying gratitude to Sain G.M. Syed is to stand with his philosophy, is to salute what he has done for the people of Sindh, not only for the people of Sindh, but the people, all the people who seek freedom and sovereignty for their people. Sain G.M. Syed, I will pay my gratitude. I pay on the behalf of Baloch People's Congress and people of Balochistan, that we admire Sain and we love him as a freedom leader, as we admire the freedom leaders like Che Guevara, and we admire freedom leaders like Nelson Mandela, and we admire freedom leaders of the world. So Sain G.M. Syed has an international status that is not given to him because he belonged to a small nation. And he belongs to a nation who is enslaved by Pakistan. if Pakistan had a small sense of responsibility or morality, they would have their highest awards in the name of G.M. Syed. But no worries, they will be when Sindhudesh will be a free country, when we will see the dreams of Sain G.M. Syed on ground, fulfilled, and we believe in that Sindhudesh will be a free country one day, as Baluchistan will be a free country one day. So at that day, we know that there will be the genuine status what G.M. Syed deserves not in Sindh, but at international level, will be given by the daughters and sons of Sindhudesh. My deepest sense of comradeship, my deepest sense of unity with the people of Sindh, whoever stands and speaks for Sindh, we Baloch, we are standing with you, and we are with you in the struggle. So keep it up. Our Mabaluchi Agushan Sohre Salam pa Sain G.M. Syed, and Sohre Salam Hama Sangata ke pa Johode Azadiya Karkanagaha Salam. Minatwar.
Thank you so much, Banu Naila. I'm not sure if Waja Razak Baloch will be able to join us, but we do have a message from Naveed Basirji, and I'm going to hand this over to Zafar Sain to play the message, after which we will end with Zafar Sain's last comments. So Zafar Sain, are you there?
Thank you, Naila ji, and thank you all speakers. Actually, Sain Basir Naveed Saab sent me his audio recorded message because he's in Asia now, and there is like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I will try to get it work done so we can play his voice recording. And also Razak ji, he's on the work. He called me and he said he is still not able to join because he is working today on the replacement. Sorry for that. Actually, tomorrow we are organizing a rally in Sun to pay the tribute to Sain G.M. Syed by GSN Freedom Movement, and our teams and party will go in the group together, and there will be a cake cutting party also at the Sun at Science Mazar in Sun. So it is a great, opportunity, and 17th January is always like so auspicious day for us. On social media, on news, on all media, especially Sindh, 17 is like Eid for us, and we always so happy on that day. That people from across the world, they remember Sain G.M. Syed. Even today here in Houston, we have 2 events on Sain G.M. Syed. 118th birthday anniversary. Today evening we have one program. So it's like for us great opportunity always to talk about, to discuss about, to pay the tribute to the person who not only revive our history, who revived our identity, but he gave us the way. He showed us the way, that this is the way. This is the freedom of Sindhudesh that will take you to your history, to your roots, and you will be a recognized nation, and you will live long forever until this world will be, if you will get your country, if you get your freedom. So hopefully we will work on it. And there was few things about politics, that leadership, and for Sindh we need some strong movement and all that. I think on these things we will again organize in other event. Actually, I'm very sorry, I'm trying to connect my phone on Naveed Saab audio, but it is not going through from here. So it is maybe some technique or something. If not, then again I will try, but I can play here.
दोस्तों और साथियों, मैं पैगंबर सिंध
आवाज आ रही है?
सैयद की 12वीं सालगिरह के मौके पर एक पैगाम देना चाहता हूँ। मैं साईं की सालगिरह की तकरीब को 1 यूनिट के खात्मे की 50वीं सालगिरह से मंसूब कर रहा हूँ, इसलिए कि मुल्क से 1 यूनिट का खात्मा साईं जी.एम सैयद की मुसलसिल जद्दोजहद से ही मुमकिन है। दोस्तों, 1 यूनिट को खत्म हुए इस साल 50 साल मुकम्मल हो रहे हैं। यही 1 यूनिट था जिसकी बिना पर पाकिस्तान की आबादी के लिहाज से सबसे बड़े सूबे मशरक़ी पाकिस्तान, हालिया बांग्लादेश को खून और आग के एक बहुत बड़े दरिया से गुजरना पड़ा, जिसमें लाखों औरतों की सरेआम आबरूरेज़ी की गई। 30 लाख से ज्यादा अफराद का कत्ले आम हुआ। अगर इस जमाने में यानी मगरबी पाकिस्तान असेंबली में जी.एम सैयद साहब की 1 यूनिट के खिलाफ पेश कर करारदाद को मनोअन नाफिज कर दिया जाता तो तारीख का इतना बड़ा खूनी सामना नहीं होता। रहबर सिंध का कमाल ये था, बल्कि कहा जाए तो बेहतर होगा कि उनकी सियासी बसीरत और वुसअतगिरी का अंदाजा इस बात से लगाया जा सकता है कि साईं जी.एम सैयद के साथ मगरबी पाकिस्तान असेंबली में सिर्फ 7 अराकीन थे, मगर उन्होंने असेंबली के तमाम अराकीन को, जिनमें पख्तूनख्वा यानी साबिका सूबे सरहद सिंध, बलोचिस्तान और पंजाब से ताल्लुक रखने वाले अफराद भी शामिल थे, अपनी तहरीर करदा करारदाद को मुत्तफ़िक़ा तौर पर मंजूर करा लिया। अब 1 यूनिट के खिलाफ एक मौसर करारदाद पास हो गई, लेकिन मुल्क के असल हुक्मरानों पर ये करारदाद एक क़यामत साबित हुई और इस बात से घबरा कर मुल्क में फौरी मार्शल लॉ लगा दिया गया। ये मार्शल लॉ अय्यूब खान का था। साईं ने 1 यूनिट के खिलाफ तारीखी तौर पर पाकिस्तान की तमाम कौमों की क़यादत की, यानी सिंध और उसके अवाम ने साईं जी.एम सैयद को अपना रहबर ठहराते हुए कौमों की आज़ादी, उनका एहतराम, कौमों के दरमियान बराबरी और तमाम कौमों के हक़ खुद इख्तियारी की तहरीक को मुनज़्ज़म किया। ये इसी तहरीक और साईं जी.एम सैयद की गहरी सियासी सोच और जद्दोजहद का नतीजा था कि बांग्लादेश की क़यादत को नज़रिए पाकिस्तान और 2 कौमी नज़रिए के भयानक ख्वाब से जागना पड़ा और उन्हें कौमी जद्दोजहद के लिए साईं ने मुतहरिक किया, साईं के नजरिए ने मुतहरिक किया। इस तरह बांग्लादेश हकीकत का रूप पा गया। 1 यूनिट के खिलाफ जनाब जी.एम सैयद की तैयार करदा करारदाद थी, जिसके बायस हुक्मरानों को मालूम था कि अगर फिल फॉर मार्शल लॉ न लगाया गया तो मुल्क में फिर खालिस जमहूरियत आएगी, मुल्क सरकारी तौर पर कसीरुल कौमी मुल्क बन जाएगा। इस तरह से इस्लाम के नाम पर मरकज की बदमाशी, गुंडागर्दी, धौंस, धांधली, भत्ताखोरी और लूट खसोट नहीं चल पाएगी। इस मौके पर आइए 1 यूनिट के खात्मे की 50वीं सालगिरह पर हम अपने रहबर साईं जी.एम सैयद और सिंध के अवाम को भरपूर खिराज तहसीन पेश करें। दोस्तों, रहबर सिंध की तमाम जिंदगी हमेशा तकलीफ और जिद्दोजहद से भरपूर रही है और अपनी कम उम्री से ही उन्होंने बहुत सारी तहरीकों को मुनज़्ज़म किया, जिसके नतीजे में कई अहदाफ हासिल भी किए गए। इनकी तमाम जद्दोजहद का मरकज سندھ رہا ہے. بمبئی سے سندھ کی علیحدگی کا سہرا بھی سائیں کی کاوشوں کو جاتا ہے. انہوں نے سن 1932 میں کراچی میں آل سندھ کانفرنس بلائی. اس کی صدارت شیخ عبد المجید سندھی نے کی، جس میں سندھ کی تمام عالم فاضل اور نامور شخصیات نے شرکت کی. انہوں نے سندھ پیپلز پارٹی بنائی، جس کی مسلسل سیاسی جدوجہد کے ذریعے بمبئی سے سندھ کی علیحدگی ممکن ہو سکی. سائی نے اپنی تمام جوانی بلکہ نوجوانی سندھی قوم کے ایکنالجمنٹ اور سندھ کے علیحدہ وطن کے قیام کے لیے قربان کر دی. جب انگریز نے سن 1936 کے انتخابات میں مسلم لیگ کی بدترین شکست پر قائد اعظم محمد علی جناح سے مایوسی کا اظہار کیا اور طعنہ دیا کہ مسلم لیگ تو کسی مسلم اکثریتی والے صوبے سے نہیں جیت سکی ہے، تو اس کو مسلمانوں کی نمائندہ جماعت کیسے کہیں گے، جس پر جناح کو صرف سندھ نظر آیا اور انہوں نے سائیں کو بلا کر گڑ گڑا کر کہا کہ مجھے آپ سے امید ہے کہ آپ سندھ سے اکثریت دلوائیں گے، مسلمانوں کی اکثریت دلوائیں گے. بعد کے انتخابات کے موقع پر سید صاحب نے سندھ یونائٹڈ پارٹی بنائی اور سندھ اسمبلی کی 64 سیٹوں میں سے مسلمانوں کے لیے مختص 34 نشستیں تھیں، ان میں سے 32 نشستیں سید صاحب کی سیاست کے باعث جیت لی گئی. اس موقع پر سندھ یونائٹڈ پارٹی کے سربراہ شیخ عبد المجید نے فیصلہ کیا تھا کہ سندھ کے 3 سرز یعنی سر ہدایت اللہ، سر شاہ نواز بھٹو اور سر عبداللہ ہارون کو سندھ سے منتخب نہیں ہونے دیں گے، کیونکہ وہ انگریز کے مراد یافتہ ایجنٹ ہیں. سائن GM سید نے ان کی اس ہدایت کی روشنی میں اپنی بہترین سیاسی حکمت عملی سے ان تینوں کو سندھ اسمبلی کا ممبر منتخب نہیں ہونے دیا، لیکن جناح ہی بے وفا نکلے. انہوں نے سر ہدایت اللہ کو سندھ کی عوام کے ساتھ تھوپ دیا. سید صاحب نے سن 1948 میں جب ملک میں صرف 1 پارٹی سسٹم ہوتا تھا، یعنی مسلم لیگ ہی سیاسی جماعت ہوتی تھی اور اس کے خلاف اگر کوئی جماعت بنتی تو اسے کہا جاتا کہ وہ ملک دشمن ہے اور نظریہ پاکستان دشمن ہے. سن 1948 میں سید صاحب نے ملکی سطح پر پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی بنائی اور اس میں پیش رہے، اور اس پارٹی کا سربراہ خان عبد الغفار خان یعنی باچا خان کو بنایا گیا، جن کو جناح غدار کہتے تھے. جب خان عبد الغفار خان پارٹی کی صدارت کا لفظ لینے آئے تو ان کے خلاف غدار کے نعرے لگوائے گئے. پیپلز پارٹی میں GM سید، سماتا چکزئی، کسور کرتیزی، شیخ مجید، شیخ عزیز، میاں افتخار الدین سمیت بے شمار سیاسی شخصیات شامل تھی. یہ میاں افتخار الدین قائد حزب اختلاف ہوتے تھے پاکستان میں، اور ان کے ادارے کے تحت بہت سارے اخبارات یعنی روز اور پاکستان ٹائمز سمیت بے شمار اخبارات نکلتے تھے. انہیں ایوب خان نے ان کے اخبارات کو سرکاری تحویل میں لے لیا تھا. سندھ یونائٹڈ پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی، اس وقت کی پاکستان پیپلز پارٹی نے پاکستان کو کثیر القومی ملک قرار دیا اور ہر قوم کے برابری کے حقوق کو تسلیم کرنے کے ساتھ ساتھ بے شمار انقلابی اہداف بھی رکھے، جن میں خاص کر مذہب کو سیاست سے علیحدہ کرنے کی بات کی گئی. سائن نے اس موقع پر کہا تھا کہ ملک کی قوموں کو قوم بننے دو، ان کے قوم بننے کے راستے کو مت روکو، انہیں راستہ دو. کیا ہی اچھا ہو کہ پنجاب کی اسمبلی پنجابی اسمبلی، سندھ کی اسمبلی سندھی اسمبلی، بنگال کی بنگالی، صوبہ سرحد کی پختون اور بلوچستان کی بلوچ اسمبلی کہلائے. انہوں نے پاکستان کی سیاست میں قوموں کے تاریخی حقوق کو منوایا اور سیاست کو ہندو مسلم کی نفرت سے پاک کیا. اس پیپلز پارٹی کو تدارک کرنے کے لیے یہ نئی پیپلز پارٹی بنائی جو قوموں کی حق اختیاری کے خلاف تھی، اس لیے ہم اس کے خلاف ہیں. بات تو لمبی کرنی مگر تھوڑے سے ٹائم کے سبب بات کو ختم کرنے سے پہلے کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ سائیں کو 32 سال قید میں رکھا گیا مگر ان پر کبھی مقدمہ نہیں چلا. نہ ان کا عدالتی ٹرائل ہوا، وہ غدار ٹھہرائے گئے، اور کیا کیا الزامات نہیں ان پر لگائے گئے، ان پر کیا کیا الزامات لگائے گئے۔ انہیں کبھی سنا ہی نہیں گیا کہ وہ کیا چاہتے ہیں، ان کے سیاسی ایشوز کیا ہیں۔ انہوں نے اپنے نظریے اور فلسفے پر بے شمار کتابیں لکھی، جن پر پابندی عائد کر کے پاکستانیوں کو ڈرایا گیا کہ ان کی کتابیں نہ پڑھیں۔ ایک شریف النفس، نیک، سادہ لو اور صالح آدمی کو تم نے یعنی ریاست کے ٹھیکیداروں نے کبھی نہیں سنا۔ میں سندھی ہونے کے ناطے، حالانکہ مجھے اردو بولنے والا سندھی کہا جاتا ہے، اس کے باوجود میں کہتا ہوں کہ جو الزام تم سائیں پر لگاتے رہو، میں اس کا جواب دینے کے لیے تیار ہوں۔ میں اس آئین کو نہیں مانتا، مجھ پر مقدمہ چلاؤ۔ تم نے جی ایم سید پر مقدمہ نہیں چلایا بلکہ عمر بھر بند رکھا، مگر اب ہم تمہیں جواب دیں گے۔ تم جو بھی الزام لگاؤ ہم ہر جرم قبول کر لیں گے۔ ہم سے کوئی سوال تو کرو، کم از کم یہی پوچھ لو کہ تم سندھی لوگ کیوں جی ایم سید کی سوچ کا ساتھ دیتے ہو۔ ہم جواب دیں گے۔ میرے ساتھ ہر سندھی کھڑا ہے، چاہے وہ سندھی بولتا ہو یا اردو۔ ہم سندھ ہیں، ہم سے پوچھو ہم کیا چاہتے ہیں۔ ہم ہی جنہوں نے
Zahar bhai, you're there? I think you've cut out. Zafar, are you there? Okay, I think the audio cut out towards the end, but I think we got most of it over there. You are on mute right now. One second here, let me unmute you.
اور سندھ کے لوگ تمہارے بھیانک چہرے سے واقف ہیں۔ ایک بدبودار چہرہ، کئی چہرہ تعفن اٹھتا ہے تمہارے چہروں سے۔ میں تیار ہوں جو الزام تم نے جی ایم سید پر لگائے، ہر الزام کا جواب دوں گا۔ میں سندھ ہوں، میں جی ایم سید ہوں۔ خدا حافظ۔
یہ سائیں ہمارے جو ہے نوید بصیر صاحب جو انٹرنیشنل ہیومن رائٹس ساؤتھ ایشیا کے چیئرپرسن ہیں، ان کا میسیج تھا سائیں جی ایم سید کے حوالے سے، سائیں جی ایم سید کی 118th برتھ ڈے کے بارے میں۔ تو ہمارے جو رزاق بھائی ہیں وہ کسی جاب کی وجہ سے جوائن نہیں ہو سکے، باقی جتنے بھی ہمارے تھے اسپیکرز تھے انہوں نے جوائن کیا، ہم نے سب کو سنا۔ کل سن میں میلہ سجے گا، کل سن میں عید ہوگی، سائیں کے سالگرہ کا جو ہے کیک کٹے گا، وہاں پہ پوری سندھ سے لوگ سائیں کے ہر سال سالگرہ پہ وہاں آتے ہیں۔ ہم جب یونیورسٹی میں ہوتے تھے، جب میں سندھ میں تھا، تو ہر سال ہم بھی یونیورسٹی کی پوائنٹ نکال کے سائیں کی سالگرہ پہ، سائیں کے ورثی پہ جاتے تھے۔ تو آج سندھ سے دور رہتے ہوئے 7 سال ہو گئے ہیں، مجھے تکلیف ہوتی ہے، بہت تکلیف ہوتی ہے اپنے دھرتی سے، اپنے وطن سے دور رہ کے، لیکن کبھی کبھی خوشی بھی ہوتی ہے کہ جیسے سبھاش چندر جی بوس کو بہت ٹائم باہر رہے، دھرتی پہ نہیں جا سکے، دھرتی پہ نہیں پہنچ سکے۔ یہ جلاوطنی، یہ تکلیفیں ہر انسان پہ نہیں آتی ہیں، یہ کچھ ہی لوگ ہوتے ہیں جن کو فطرت، جن کو دھرتی، جن کو اپنا وطن چوز کرتا ہے۔ اور بھلے آج سائیں جی ایم سید ہمارے ساتھ نہیں ہیں، لیکن ان کا دیا ہوا رستہ ہمارے ساتھ ہے، ان کی تربیت، ان کا مشن ہمارے ساتھ ہے، और ये पाकिस्तान जब तक टूटेगा नहीं, ये पाकिस्तान जब तक खत्म नहीं होगा, जो साईं का देरीना ख्वाब था, जब तक वो पूरा नहीं होगा, हम इस रियासत से, इस दहशतगर्दी से, इस गुंडागर्दी से लड़ते रहेंगे, चाहे सिंध में हो, चाहे सिंध से बाहर हो, कहाँ पे भी हो। हम अपना देश और अपनी धरती लेके आए। थैंक यू Carl ji, over to you.
Thank you very much for that. Again, I want to thank everybody who
Carl bhai, you can listen.
जी सुनाई दे रहा? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Carry on.
Yeah. So I just wanted to end by thanking everyone who joined to speak, to all the speakers, as well as to all who joined to listen in. It's very important. Every bit counts. Please follow GSN Freedom Movement on Twitter and Facebook. The links are in your chat, in the meeting chat. Please go ahead and join and participate. It's important to spread the word and to follow the events going on. और पाबंदियों की बातें करते हुए अभी सोशल मीडिया पे ये खबर आई है कि पाकिस्तान में इनके सालगिरह की ईद मनाने वालों पर भी पाबंदी लगाई गई है। तो खासकर पाबंदिस्तान से जुड़ने वालों को मेरा सलाम और आपकी सुरक्षा के लिए हम दुआ करते हैं। Once again, thank you everyone for joining and we shall end this meeting now. Thank you.